I want to talk about the Department of Immigration. I have had friends in Minnesota, and mostly in the instructional business, and what they did is they tried to handle these, they were in the instructional business, and they tried to handle these individuals that came in from Somalia. And they were Somalia Muslims, and they were defiant, they were difficult, and they would not adhere to our Constitution and would not say the Pledge of Allegiance and went through all that. Well, I thought that was just related to the individuals that they had up there. Well, then I talked to an 18-year-old that came from Sudan, a black fellow, and basically he said, number one, the Department of Immigration, like they tell me up in Minnesota, did not ask the individuals who came here to learn about citizenship. They didn't ask them to learn about our language. They didn't ask them to learn about our history. They just brought them in, and that's what he said they took place. And he said, I'm an example of that. And he said, basically, here an 18-year-old student says, you know, the people in the United States aren't very smart. He says, they think they have all these Muslims coming in, they're going to change, we're going to change them. He says, that's not the way it works. He says, I came from that area when they killed off individuals, and if you were not a Muslim, and they came down from the north, and they just beheaded individuals and left it out there to display. And he says people don't realize this type of mentality that they have. And he said, I mean, I guess the question is, doesn't the Department of Immigration have to have a standard where they teach people the history of the country, the English before they get here, and all these things that I mentioned? I mean, isn't there a standard to have, or can we have to change things to make things go?
The answer is yes, there is, exactly what you said, but it's all related to that person becoming a citizen, not coming to this country. In other words, if you come to this country and you don't have to worry about any of that stuff as long as you come here legally. If you come here illegally, you ain't going to worry about it anyway. And then if you want to be a citizen, then everything you say applies. See, these folks, I'll bet the folks you were describing from Somalia, I'll bet they came here as political asylum, under political asylum, which means they came here legally. And were invited here because there was something about the condition in their country that their life was in jeopardy. I'll bet. But if they become citizens, then yes, they have to go through all that.
Yeah. We're into our press time. If there's any press here.
Here, let me decide if I got another 10 minutes I can stay with you. If there's nobody from the press that needs to talk to me, then I'll just stay another 10 minutes.